Hi, it's Liz. Today we're going to make felties. What are felties? I have not done them before, but I have been searching so much. They're basically felt, then you embroider on the felt. It's 2 pieces of felt. So apparently there's like a whole community that makes these little felty things. I don't exactly know what you use them for. I see people use them for like putting on hair bows and maybe on charms or something. I'm not exactly sure, but they are so cute and there is websites totally dedicated to them. So the felty videos I have been watching, there's a certain stitch order. So from what I've researched, there are different types of felt, and I have bought felt to make felt stories before. So the dollar store ones, you can see through it, they don't last as long. They're good practice ones. So this one is not from the dollar store, it's from Stedman's. It's like a local got everything store, catch everything store. So this one still has the tag and it's an eco-fill peat fiber material made from 100% recycled purified plastic bottles. So I am able to see through it, but it's not as thin as like the dollar store ones that are really super thin. But I'm going to try and experiment with that one. I also have the stiffened felt. So this one I found at the thrift store actually, so I don't actually know where these ones are from. I think the tag did say it was made in the USA, but they're super stiff. So I'm going to make sure I change out my needle before I do all these designs. And then the other ones that I have been seeing is what people have been using is 100% wool felt. It's a bit harder to find. You're not going to be able to like find it at your dollar store, at least I wasn't. They're more of like a specialty thing. There is also like felties, I think the brand name. I can't see through them as much as I can with that plastic bottle one or with the dollar store one. The stiffened one is actually really stiff and you can't see through it at all. But what I have been seeing is most people use the 100% wool ones. So the 100% wool felt, you can search for like 100% wool felt and then also search for like they're used in early childhood education with Waldorf and like Reggio Emilia where they don't use any plastic things. They're more nature based and so their felt stories and their doll making and all that stuff is with the 100% wool felt. So they are way more expensive than I think I've been seeing, you know, $3, $4, $5 for the same size sheet as you know the ones you would get at the dollar store, which can be like 50 cents or $1. And so there is definitely a cost difference. So a while ago I did buy some felt from my fabric store. I feel like their quality is more like the 100% recycled plastic water bottles, that type of quality, rather than the cheap dollar store ones that you can basically like poke your whole finger through. Alright, so I've hooked up my SQ20B. I'm using the Janome Memory Craft 500E, if you're wondering. This one is 200 millimeters by 200 millimeters, so I think it's my my third smallest size, whichever way you want to go. Anyhow, so I'm using tearaway stabilizer. So because this is a test run, I'm going to do all the embroideries that seem fun. Alright, so I'm hoping that they're all in the right spot. I think it'd probably just been easier if I bought a file with a felty one, because then I could do a proper tack down, but it's okay. So what I did is I used my grid and I put it behind. It is a little bit shifty, so I'm not 100% sure that it's in the right place, but we're just gonna go for it because this is all practice. So I had really good intentions of using my embroidery files for these felties. They're a little bit different sequentially, so that is another thing to think about. And also the felties around the border isn't like a satin stitch, it's just a straight stitch. So those files that I was going to use for an applique or anything would have been different. So my problem was that my thread kept on breaking because I don't know if it's just my thread. I tried the embroidery thread, I tried the cotton thread, I tried this outdoor thread, and maybe I just do need a better quality thread for the embroidery for it to go through the wool. It just kept on breaking every couple seconds basically, and it wasn't feasible. So this is what my intention was, is that I was going to be doing this butterfly, and I actually had to go and purchase some copper metallic thread because that's all they had at the store, but that even kept breaking. So I purchased 2 felties. One is a cupcake, one is a unicorn face. So on this file you can see I received 2 sizes, and then I received one that's grouped into 4, so I could do 4 at a time. So the unicorn one, it groups it into 4 or just a single. All right, so I'm being a bit ambitious. I have the unicorns all grouped into 4, and I have cupcakes, 2 cupcakes. All right, so I'm not putting anything in just in that corner, just because this is where the butterfly was and I wanted to use a stabilizer. So this is tearaway stabilizer. All right, and it's telling me use white thread first. As far as I know, what it's going to do is in grouping, so it'll be 4 of the unicorn outlines first. So first it says to do that it's a white all the way around. So I have a feeling this might be my placement stitch. All right, so I have the white thread in. I'm not putting anything on there. It's just the stabilizer, the tearaway stabilizer. So it's going to start with the unicorn. Leave the unicorn outlines. It's a bit tricky to see, but you can see there's the outlines, and so that's where the felt pieces need to go. So if I wanted this one to be pink and this one's to be red, then I can put individual felt pieces over top. So I can use 505. This is temporary adhesive spray, and you can spray it on the back of your felt, and then you put your felt down. So I got my 4 pieces. I'm going to keep the white thread on because I have the pieces over, and I'm going to go. This grouping is so handy because it does it each individual section at a time. So the horns are done, so we're going to move on. Alright, so you can see this one shifted and moved, so I thought I put it back in the right spot, but obviously not. I did have a couple of breaks in the thread when it was going over high speed. So I changed my needle to a 7511, and that seems to have done the trick. So I think maybe just a combination of all those different factors. So just finished the ears, and now it's asking to do pink. So I'm guessing it's going to do the little flower crowns next. So what's been happening is the fabric has been lifting up, because when the needle goes on to the next one, so it'll go onto like this, and do each one, right? Like the horn, the ears, and it's been bouncing kind of all over. So it doesn't actually cut the thread, so it's been pulling it up. I think this 4 is great if it was just one sheet, which I'll probably do for the cupcakes, but as individual pieces, it's definitely a lot trickier. I just had to catch this. I'm going to like snip it and make sure it's laying flat back, but so it has stopped, and it's told me to use white thread. So I have a feeling that we're back at the beginning. So what I would want to do, so I'll just show you some of the things that have happened. This one actually got kind of ripped up, and just because it gets caught, sometimes the thread goes this way, and if it just gets caught, I've been using these little things to move and make sure it's pinned down so it doesn't get caught, but this one got caught and ripped up. So the eyes are going to be a little bit wonky on that one. So all of them have kind of come up because of the tension on the thread pulling them around. So I would definitely just use one color when I start off with. I would also probably just do one file at a time, because it is telling me to go to white, but I'm not too sure if it's like if that's my last stitch or if the next one is going to the next project. So what I want to do, so the backings I want to get all trimmed up and trim this all up. So once you get all your threads trimmed up, you put another piece of felt on the backing, and then it'll go around the outline, and then that side should be done. So I'm hoping that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and turn up my threads and then put a piece of, I think, the white felt on the back. and then hopefully it'll trace around what it needs to, so I know where to kind of cut. All right, so they're done. Lots of things have shifted. Final thoughts, I think I'm gonna have to buy a lot more needles, because I think that's another thing happening, is that they're getting worn out pretty quick. But in all, it's worked out pretty well. All right, so if I did this better next time, I would use one piece, because I didn't account for the outline afterwards. And I would, definitely make sure it's one piece, or have it really pinned down. I don't even know. I mean, the temporary spray is only good up to a certain point. I have seen, people putting a whole piece on there and actually them pinning it as well, just so it doesn't move at all, because you can really see this one shifted quite a bit. That one is not great. Their eyes are all wonky. This one, it is coming off of the paper. So I just put the unicorn in its own folder, just if I was just doing the 4 on a one piece. It says it's going to take 26 minutes. It has 13 colors. So it's basically just like an embroidery file, but it's in a different format where it stops at the very end, so I can add the piece of felt at the back. I thought maybe I could do this just in a solid color, but it has a white underlay underneath, and then you have to put colors over top. So you do have to switch colors, otherwise you're not going to get some of that detail that I'm looking for. And I was just trying to think, would it be better just to get white felt and then get multiple thread colors, or is it better to get the felt of different colors and then having the same thread color? But it's not really working for that design. I would have to have multiple thread colors. So another thing I was thinking about is that the machine needle, I did change it to a 7511, and that worked out a lot better. I should also maybe look for like a wool needle, embroidery needle, a wool embroidery needle. Is that a thing? I'll have to search, but I think with especially using the wool felt, it's going to go through my needles quite a lot more. So you definitely have to price these accordingly, just because you're accounting for now your thread and the felt that's going into it, so that you're doing each individual one. So they're all cut out. And having that white backing, or you can use whatever color, definitely makes it double thick. So they would be really great for felt stories. So I think that's a great option. They are really cute. My thread did break on a couple when they were doing the tracing though. So that's something that I'm just gonna have to get some better thread for sure, just because of how thick that wool is. Do you think it's profitable for a business? So it's going to depend on the material, the thread, and how many needles it goes through, of how much you would have to charge per unicorn. It really depends on either your machine speed. That was just 26 minutes of machine time. That's not accounting for putting the fabric on, putting the fabric at the back, and any color changes as well. And then also your cost of the felt, the needles, I feel like you're going to be running through a lot more, and then the thread. So taking all those into consideration, but I do think they are a wonderful like felt story. If you can create collections of them, I think that's a really great option. They come in different sizes as well. All right, so is it profitable? It's really going to depend on what the cost is going to be for the felt and the thread, and how many needles you go through, and the time that it takes you, and what you can sell them for. So I would have to look online of what I could sell one of these unicorns, or maybe a batch of them, and do a song about unicorns if I was selling it like as a felt story, or if you're attaching these to say like a clip or something for a barrette, or if you're wanting to make a keychain out of this or something. All right, this is going to be round 2, because I really want to make these and add dimension and add color. So I did go to my local fabric store. It's just like a quilting shop. I got the Glide. I got Ruby. It's 100% polyester. I got white in the Glide as well, polyester. I got a violet and federal. It's an interesting name. And I just got a black. All right, so I'm gonna do the same unicorn file. I'm going to use the smaller hoop, and I'm going to use that stiffened black sparkly polyester one, but I'm going to use the whole piece. Like, I'm not gonna do piecework on this one. So I'm going to get my outline stitch, then I'll cut out the fabric and put the 505 on there. I might pin the edges, we're gonna see, I might not, and then I will start the process and change out some of the colors. I think it'll add dimension. Should probably also wind some of the bobbin thread in polyester as well, just so that it's all good on all ends, but I haven't seemed to have a problem with the bobbin thread at all. So I just wanted to show you how the colors are turning out really great. It's giving it dimension, it's just not a big blob like the other one. And I'm just writing down all the different layers and what colors I'm using, so I'm able to repeat it in the future. They look so good and so much detail. You can actually see what it's actually supposed to be. I think the colors are really nice. I did just use 3 colors, so white, the blue, and the purple, and it worked out really nice. So the seller did have like a PDF sheet, but there were several in there, so I just had to find the one that was my sequence for my machine, and then I make my own little notes, like what colors I use, where it's gonna go, what steps I'm doing. So they turned out amazing. The color, the depth, they look so good. The stiffened felt is actually really nice. So 4 of them uses about half a sheet, a 9x12 sheet I think it is. So just something to think about when planning out the price wise. And you can really change like the undercolor to this, or the over color, you could swap them out. You could do it all different colors and really just customize it. I don't know what you think about just having a matching color for the back or the same color, or should you use like cheaper and more inexpensive felt for the back because it's not going to be seen? Does it really make a difference? I'm not too sure. You can definitely tell there is a quality difference between the stiffened felt and this felt. This one is very plush and soft. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below. Let me know what type of felt that you use, what seems to work, and I will chat with you later. Bye!